So your avoidant partner is pulling away. They've shut down. They've detached. They're deactivating. You can feel them pulling away from you, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They're becoming less affectionate, more distant. They're replying to you less. And when you see them in person, they feel distant. They're cold. They're not warm. They act like they want nothing to do with you. And you are getting a ton of anxiety. And you have no idea what to do here. First, let's understand why they do this. Both dismissive and fearful avoidance can shut down, deactivate, and push you away when they've had their fears triggered. This is a person that received consistent childhood emotional neglect. They weren't given love and nurturing in the way that they needed from their parents or caretakers, but they were also never shown how to process emotions, how to communicate, because their feelings were rejected as children. So they learned to bottle it up. They learned to self-soothe. They learned to just suppress and avoid. The way that they self-soothe is by avoiding whatever is bothering them, distracting themselves, not thinking about it, just suppressing and avoiding. So when this person is pulling away, if you try to force the conversation, if you are trying to chase them, beg them, or just show them more and more and more love to try to hopefully win them back into the relationship, that is only going to backfire, and this person is very likely to deactivate further, push you away further, and perhaps even discard and abruptly end the relationship on you, maybe ghost you altogether. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to endure this either. If the person wants space, if they need space, well, that's your right to decide whether that's something that works for you or not. But it's also your right to request and require communication about this. For them to say, hey, I need a little space. Something happened at work, something happened here, and I need a couple days to decompress. Okay, but the lack of communication, the complete withdrawal, just leaves you blindsided and second guessing yourself. So what does a secure person do here? Well, the secure person holds a boundary. Now, there's two main reasons why people fail to hold boundaries in a relationship. The first reason is that they're afraid that there's going to be an argument or conflict if they hold a boundary. But the second reason, and this is a big one for someone who's anxious, is the fear that if I hold a boundary, this person will leave the relationship, that I will lose them. But if they run because you're holding a boundary, which is your limits of what you want, don't want, what you'll tolerate, not tolerate, what you need, don't need, and what your expectations are, if they run because of that, they're telling you that they were never concerned about your feelings, wants, or needs, and they were never going to meet your expectations. And as painful as it is, it's usually better for you in this situation to lose the relationship, so you can grieve the loss of that and then move on to finding somebody who is concerned about meeting your expectations and needs, somebody who is investing in you emotionally the same way that you are investing in them. So how do you hold that boundary? It's very simple. Hey, I've noticed that there's been some distance, lack of communication. Are you still interested in maintaining this connection? Now, chances are the avoidant is going to say, yes, I've just been stressed. I've just been dealing with work. I've just been really busy. Blowing it off, brushing it off, and not really giving you a really thorough, direct answer, but not telling you that they want to end the relationship. This is where the boundary comes in. Well, consistent communication is something that's really important to me. And if there's something going on, if you're needing space, that's something that I feel that I need to know. Because just pulling away and distancing and not communicating with me is not something that works for me. So if you're not able or willing to do that kind of communication, okay, that's your right, but that's not something that works for me. And the relationship wouldn't work for me without that kind of level of communication. There, you just held the boundary and you did it in a way that's not mean or confrontational. One of two things is going to happen. The first thing, which is the best scenario, is that this person recognizes that you're holding a boundary, takes accountability, and works to do better. And the next time they need a little space, they'll communicate with you, or they'll try to communicate their feelings in a better way to meet your needs. The second option is that they either run away or blame you for being wrong for having the boundary, which is a form of gaslighting. But your needs are not wrong. It's what works for you. And if this person is blaming you for having those needs, that boundary, or if they run away, what they're really saying is that they're not really interested or concerned about your perception. There's a lack of empathy there because the person that's blaming you or running away from this is not showing any empathy for the anxiety and the pain that they're causing you by withdrawing. So it really is a big reveal about the intent of this person, and are they willing to carry their weight in the relationship? Or it is a one-way street where you have to walk on eggshells and cater to them, tiptoe around them to meet their needs while neglecting your own. That's a recipe for anxious attachment. Holding the boundary and recognizing that your needs and feelings are important too, well, that's a secure thing to do. Your needs do matter, your feelings matter, and don't let anybody convince you otherwise.